to everyone in Kenya. Good afternoon and good evening to the rest of the world. Welcome back to JSMFX for another edition of Forex analysis, reviews, and forecasts of the coming week of 13th to 17th of October 2025. For now, we're going to look at reviews for 6th to 10th October 2025 and also the analysis before we look at the forecast. So stay tuned and let us begin with Euro USD. But before that, the news just to see on what we'll be facing coming in next week of I think 13th to 17th. Okay, so on Monday we have China news, so many high impact news from China, or rather the Asian session. So meaning that nothing much here for me because I don't trade those pairs. So what I'm going to concentrate in is maybe on Tuesday. Okay, so first and foremost, I'll be concentrating on the Fed Powell speech. This will be very important for me. And also the pound news also I see. For me, I've filtered all my news to the high news only. So meaning the pound news will be important for me, and also the USD news, which is the Fed Chair Powell speech. Wednesday, nothing much, just the NY Empire State Manufacturing Index. So for me, I don't see so much that I'll be expecting here, but I'll also be keeping an eye on Wednesday on the Euro Guindo speech, like this one and this one. Yeah, and on Thursday, excuse me, on Thursday, I see also so much activity that is going on. For me, most important one is the PPI, okay? But I won't also ignore these jobless claims, okay? So I also keep in mind about those ones. Not really much on the pound news like you see here, but I'll also keep in mind to just check on which is coming next, to also read the market or the chart and understand what is going on, and also, be aware. Friday, nothing much. CPI on Euro, yes, that I'll be keeping in mind, but for the building permits, house starts, for me and according to my data, I don't see this affecting so much of the chart, or rather the price in the chart or the pairs. So yeah, I think that will be all for news, and that is what I'll be expecting personally. Yeah, so let us begin today's session. So Euro USD, that's going to be our first pair to just look at and also dig in depth to understand how it is, where it's going, and where we expect it to also continue at. For now, I'm playing between this high and this low. We see we had a monthly, actually this is the monthly time frame, and I chose to start from the monthly, so because I want to understand the full structure, okay, of this pair. So we had a very bullish change of character here, and as you can see, price went up. Okay, yes, it danced around here, tried to make a high, but that didn't happen. So we were in a range, which actually the range pushed price down to take out this this sell side liquidity, and react to this fair value gap. For those fair value gap traders, you know what this means for you, and yeah, that I think favored you to the upside, and then created a new high, okay, after this high was broken and this high. So right now, as you see, we have pulled back to this demand, and this demand also tried to push price up, but that didn't happen with the close above. Okay, although it did achieve to at least cross it, but not closing it. So the pullback back to this demand of this candle is now giving us some mixed reaction, because we don't know what will happen next. We still have this supply that needs to be touched, so maybe we could do this before maybe coming down. Okay, and remember, after this change of character, we never had a pullback to this demand. Okay, so also we have this demand which is still fresh. Maybe price could come there or there before maybe before maybe continuing to the downside, because ideally when we look at the whole structure, we see that the price is showing us some kind of downtrend vibe. So let's go on to the weekly. Today we are going to go very steadily so that we understand everything that's going on. So let's start from here where we saw the monthly demand that was fresh, to see if maybe they're coming back to there or not. So yes, move to the upside, pull back, move to the upside. Then now with this pullback, it only came to this whole range, okay, like we saw in the weekly, but also it has been ranging, okay, it has been ranging like that. Let me just remove this 1 second. Okay, so we had a pullback here, and then price started ranging. Price started ranging like that, and so we have, or we see a couple of pullbacks inside here, inside the. Okay, so coming back again, sorry for the delay. So the weekly, like I said before, we had a push to the upside like that, and then price pulled back, and then we came up like that. So what we're seeing here is we have a range from this pullback. Okay, so price went up and then pulled back and then went up and then pulled back here, and all this was just playing around this demand area. Okay, so in this pullback, we see that price shot to the upside and then came down to react to this demand, and then went up, okay, and then came back with this to this inside bar, and then shot up and then came down again. Okay, so meaning from this last pullback, okay, according to the way I've just drawn my trend line, we see that this demand has been breached right here. So meaning that this could be a change, a bearish change of character, giving out the signals or the vibes to change direction to the downside. Remember, we have that daily and monthly and now weekly change, weekly demand that is still fresh and price could be coming back to. So what I'm seeing right now is, after the change of character, we don't have the close of candle below, but what we have is we have a long wick created. So meaning in that long wick, we could be facing a pullback, maybe to that area before maybe continuing to the downside. And don't worry about this dotted, the purple line. This is my weekly, I think this is monthly change of character, which I'm expecting also to be broken. If that does happen, then I'll be looking for a setup like this. Say, for example, it does break and it causes the weekly change of character and the monthly change of character. Then I'll be looking for price to come and at least react from this demand or maybe this doji, okay, just because they've broken and they've closed below. And then if I get a fresh supply just like this one, then I'll be very confident enough to take that trade from there and maybe hold it to next year. Maybe hold it to next year or something like you know the next the next first quarter of next year. So you see, that's just the power of trading, the art of trading, and also understanding how this game really works. Remember, even if you're trading the lower time frames, the higher time frame still dictates the direction. So what I can also advise is you can also think about that, because at the end of the day, we always say patience pays. So if I do get a supply around here, then I'll be confident enough to take that, despite the pips of the stop loss, size of the stop loss that will be there, and then ride it down. And I'll show you that in maybe I think the daily time frame, to see how I looked at that and it actually worked out. So the daily, I won't want to talk much about the lower side around here. So let's just focus on what is apparent and what is a recent structure right here. Okay, so this is the daily now. Remember, this box is the weekly. Okay, so let me just try, let me just remove it for now so that we can focus, with the daily structure and also the levels. Okay, so let me do this and then that. Okay, so we had a low created here which caused the break of success on the upside. And like I said in my last video, I think price was around here, and I mentioned that we will still move lower. And why are we moving lower? Because we had this fresh demand on the daily that needs to be mitigated. So possibly they could be coming here. Okay, could be coming here, or maybe if they do come here, then remember we have a weekly change of character looming, and also now we have a daily change of character which has been broken to the downside. So meaning if they do come here, then for me I'll be anticipating for the change of direction, change of break of the swing low of the daily to the downside. So what happened here? Okay, so we saw price coming down to this demand and then pushed up to actually mitigate somewhat some kind of supply around here, and then price pushed lower, and we had a change of character but not a close below, but still price pulled back. So when it was pulling back, it's obvious that this supply was very fresh. So I know this is the start of the month of October, if I'm not wrong. Yes, the month of October. And as you see, the month of October touched that supply, okay, and then went to the downside. So as it was coming down like this, as you can see, this long wick of that candle, I hope you're seeing it, that was just a return to this supply, and then price pushed lower again. So you see how now price has left all these demands that were mitigated only for it to come and chase the one that wasn't, possibly because where it is right now is it's at this demand. Okay, so maybe from this demand we could be seeing this pullback pushing price to the upside, or maybe inducing buyers to just continue buying only for them to be trapped and then maybe come and take them out from that low. So for those that that will be concentrating on that demand that I just drew on the daily, maybe you could be an inducement or maybe building liquidity for the sell side, and then price or coming in next week or maybe the future, you could be an inducement where you will come and be taken out. So this is what I was saying. This was one of my analysis. Okay, I've been collecting data on the higher time frames to see how much they actually respect levels, and as you can see, when it came and mitigated that supply, we see price respecting it very well and then continue to the downside. And why is it doing that? Because it is facilitating the pullback after the break of this high. Okay, so after the break of that high, we see the pullback, okay, being facilitated to there. So what is happening right now also in the daily, if you draw the fib from the low to the high, we see prices now on the discounted area. But question is it in the actual discounted area, or maybe are we expecting it to come to the most extreme discounted area? So those are the questions that one should ask themselves. But if you want to know more about how I look at these things in depth, let me know in the inbox or also in my Telegram or TikTok, so that I can schedule a plan to see on how I can walk you through to actually understand where to enter and how to look or analyze the charts. So let's go now to 4-hour. Excuse me. Now 4-hour also was the same, and actually the 4-hour was the what I call the sniper entry, like the way people say sniper entry. It was the exact entry that I was very certain about, and as you can see from here, price did go my way. For now, yes, I'm still in the trade. I have trailed my stop loss to here, as you can see, SL trail, but my 3R line was already broken, so I took partials, and yeah, I'm safe enough to say that I'm still in profits. But let's now discuss what is going on. So we are playing between this high, this low, and this high, and I just only want to talk about this pullback, okay, because everything here else I think I explained in my last video, and you can see very well that everything was respected, and yeah, everything is good. So after the change of character around here, we had the pullback to the supply, which pushed price lower. Okay, I think my mouse is acting up, just give me a minute. So after the change of character, we had move up to the supply and then push lower. Had another change of character here, but it was just a inducement, because when it came back there, people did buy, but they didn't remember that that was relative lows. So price pushed up and then came down. So what is happening right now? Price came up, okay, pulled back a little bit, went up again, then came down to cause a change of character with the candle close below, and then pulled back to the supply to just mitigate it, and then change, or sorry, continued with the direction. So this was one of the trades I would have taken, but I was still collecting data. So after this point where now price came up to that supply to mitigate it, and then we had a pullback from that, what do you call it, inside bar, and then a push to the upside. We see price coming down. Actually, this was the beginning of this week, and as you can see, the beginning of this week, and as you can see, it actually, if you confirm from your chart, it actually opened up with the, what do you call it, the gap. Okay, opened up with a gap. So we have the push to the upside, which mitigated that gap from that doji, or that or rather hanging man, and then price pushed down. So from there, my trade was on. Actually, my trade was on from this inside bar. Okay, from this inside bar, because I put in a sell stop order, and as you can see, price did go my way by respecting those levels, like that supply. Okay, here it induced more buyers, but came in, took them out, and then we had another pullback, and then we had move to the downside. So before that move to the downside, we see price also again inducing buyers to buy from here, just like the one we saw right here. We see price inducing buyers, or rather the big guys inducing buyers right there, and then, you know, trapping the double bottom again, which came and took them out. So right now, for now, as much as my stop loss trail is there, I'm not, you know, I'm not that afraid that it's going to be hit, but still, I know this was a good trade. Also, I see this as a very strong supply that maybe could be the one that would be the one to push price to the lower side, or rather to continue with this direction. So what is happening is we have this demand which push price up to come and mitigate the supply. Now from this supply, we also see that this week right here took out the last high of that doji, or rather inside bar. So meaning it they could be, you know, satisfied with the liquidity that has been taken out from that high, and maybe do something like this to still build more sell side liquidity. They maybe look for another supply, and then continue with the move to the downside. So for me, if you ask me, I'm still expecting this supply to hold unless it gets broken to the above. But if it doesn't hold, then we would be seeing some few areas of the some few sellers coming in right here, and then being taken out like that, and then also taking out some few buyers around there, and then, you know, continuing the direction. So that's my focus, and that is what I'll be expecting on EURUSD coming in 4 hour. Actually, if I do get that entry in the 4 hour, then that will be very great for me, and yeah, I'll be very grateful to take another sell trade from there, just to come and mitigate that daily demand down here, and also the 4 hour demand that was left. Okay, let me just draw it for that was left after the change of character around here. Okay, so right now it has only reacted from this demand, and then price pushed up. So we never know, maybe that could be inducement for the sell side, and also have some buy side around here, come and take them out, and then continue to the downside. So we are going to go to 15 minutes just to check on the few trades that I took and some that I lost. So 15 minutes. I won't say there's much to do or see, because apparently, according to my data, I've not been very much active with the Euro USD. But what I'll do is I'll do my best to try and explain what actually was happening to me during this week. So I'm gonna start off from where? I'll start off from here. Okay, so let me see if we can get that clear view. Okay, that's nice. So we have the move to the downside like that, as you saw on excuse me, as you saw on 4 hour. And as you can see, when price came down here, I noticed there was a change of character. I think this was on Wednesday. So I didn't have any trade around Monday, Tuesday. Okay, so on Wednesday, I noticed there was a change of character. Then, as I was still timing the price to come to the demand around there, as you can see, I got stopped out and then price went my way. Okay, and then later on, I think this was the New York session, price also pulled down to break that low and then pushed up now to initially come and take out all those highs and also mitigate that supply. So from that point is where we see the price now got the momentum to actually, and the reason to actually go to the downside. So this is the 4 hour demand where we are in right now. Excuse me. And as you can see, we have a move to the lower side right there, taking out this low, and then we had a change of character. So after that change of character, we see price not really ranging but pushing price, pulling back steadily to the upside to come and mitigate the supply. Well, that wasn't the case, because as you check very closely, because with the benefit of hindsight, we see that price only danced around here. Okay, it only does around this demand, this one here. Okay, so price pushed up, came back down to only, create more what do you call it, more, create more source of liquidity, and then price came down to take out all those guys. So this was the trade that I took, okay, on Euro USD, reacting from this demand and expecting price to at least go up, but that wasn't the case. I was taken out. I didn't move my stop loss, so I left it there. But yeah, so when price came down, I was expecting it actually to come down to this demand after the change of character, but that didn't happen also. So when it came down like that, we see that it was actually taking out that those liquidity, and then price pushed to the upside to that demand on the 4 hour, that supply on the 4 hour that we're expecting for price to go to. So for me, anticipation for Euro USD is on the 15-minute is we could continue down, because we still have this downward trend to the downside. So meaning this pullback could be the reason they have done of gotten enough and then maybe push to the downside. So with this, still with this momentum, we could break to the upside, so anything can happen. But initially, if I do see or get enough confluences around this supply, then maybe I'll be confident enough to take that sell and maybe joyride on the trade again to the demand on the daily that we just saw previously. So that's just it from Euro USD. Let's now check on USD CHF and call it a day. Okay, so USD CHF, last but not least. So ideally, we see this high breaking that low, okay, to the downside, and then price range around there. That is from the monthly perspective. And then we see price coming down steadily like that, building, the sell side liquidity, and also coming and taking them out. So what is happening here on the monthly is we see price, okay, who are creating this pullback, which push price lower, and then right now price is just, dancing around here. Okay, so meaning at this point we need to understand that price could go anyway. Okay, it could come and breach this demand and, reverse to this supply before continuing to the downside, or maybe continue to the downside from that point, and yeah, continue with the trend to the downside. For me, I won't want to say much about the monthly on this one, but for me, I anticipate anticipate a reversal from here, at least to come to the upside, which is right here to the supply, because we had a change of character and we've never had price coming up back up to mitigate those areas of supply in the monthly time frame. So that is my anticipation, and also focus on the monthly. So let's start off with the weekly. Let's continue with the weekly because I don't want to miss any I don't want to miss anything or any explanation that I'll be going through. So have a pullback right here. Okay, price pushed to the downside and then came back up to mitigate that supply. So right here, as it came back to this demand, which we would have expected for it to react and continue to the upside, but that wasn't the case. So what we see is just a slight pullback with this doji, and then price went down, but also to take out this liquidity because it created the wick. So creating a wick, we see price pushing up, coming down to that demand, the doji, and then pushing up. So for me, if you ask me, it is now up to this demand to hold, okay, to hold price and continue to the upside, or maybe to get breached and then continue to the downside. Yes, we are in a flow of a downtrend, okay, but I feel this demand could hold, okay, with this long wick to the downside. It will just be a pullback like that and then maybe continue to the upside. So that is one confluence that I'm seeing on the weekly of the same pair. And if it does breach actually this high, then we'll be having a change of character here, and then we'll be focusing on at least looking for long time buys to the upside. Let's now go to the daily. So daily is where the whole drama is actually playing out. Okay, so let me just try and see if I can zoom out. Okay, just a second. My mouse is acting up. I think it's time I gave out this mouse. By the way, for anyone that would want a mouse, can let me know. But for now, I'm thinking of buying another one and throwing this away. So if you need a mouse, let me know, and I'll give it for you for free. So long as you're in Mombasa. So have a move to the upside. Price came down to mitigate this demand right here, and then pushed to the upside again, and then came down like that. We had a change of character here. Now this change of character is the one that gave us the idea that price would be pulling back now to the downside. So after the mitigation of that supply, we see price going down, okay, to here, and then coming back up to that supply again, and then pushing price down to only come and mitigate. Remember that demand, okay, from this low that we just drew before. It came and mitigated, and then price pushed up a little bit before it came down and broke structure of the previous swing low. So what is happening? I told guys that we were going to buy, and I told guys that we're going to reverse. Why? Because we still had this trend line. See that trend line? That actually got broken right there. So what is happening is price went up, yes, caused a change of character, but that wasn't official until after the types of ranges around here, price shot now higher, okay, and actually closed above with this candle and also this candle to affirm the whole move. So right now is we have a pullback, okay, because we've had a change of character. We have a pullback, and this pullback, for me, I see it lingering around this exchanging wicks, or this this sell to buy range, before maybe deciding to continue to the upside or maybe come down to mitigate this demand which was left untouched after the change of character. So we see that price was or could be coming down to there before continuing to the upside, or it could come there before continuing to the upside. That's my opinion, and also focus on the things and the way that I'm used to looking at structure. So that is the daily, that is my focus, and let's move now to the 4-hour. Now 4-hour is very interesting, and I love 4-hour for one thing. Just like the 15 minutes, the 4-hour, for me, I am considering it to be the lower time frame of the higher perspective, or rather the higher you know, whole structure. So for me, 4 hour, we are in a downtrend also, just like the daily, because we broke this low. But what we are seeing also is, let me just try and zoom well. So we had a change of character here, and like I expressed on the last video, we had a move to the upside, which was actually moving to the upside to mitigate, sorry, to facilitate the pullback of the 4 hour after this break of structure. So we have a very nice move to the upside, and as you can see, price did come back to react in most of the areas of demand, especially the daily, and some of them in the 4 hour like this one. So after this range, we see this was a very nice trade, by the way. I took that. We see that price came down to this week, that took out some of the lows, okay, and the liquidity, and push price to the upside. So I also shared this in the group, and for anyone that took it, I think we grabbed about 2.5 R, if I'm not wrong. So we see price going up and then coming down. This is the green daily demand, which we saw, and we see it pushing price up like that, coming to mitigate this demand again, and then pushing price to the upside, coming to mitigate this supply. So what is happening right now is we have a pullback, okay, and this pullback for me is uncertain for now. Okay, why is it uncertain? Because this is the daily demand that price is speculatively, according to me, lingering around. We're expecting for it to linger around before maybe making the decision on the move that it wants to make next. Okay, so for me, I was expecting for at least price to react from this demand right here, but that didn't happen. As you can see, it crossed it, and actually there was a very nice trade here that I took on the lower time frame, the 15-minute, and as you can see, price did come down, pull back a little bit with that, I think is the evening star or morning star, and then push price to the lower side. So meaning after crossing it, then this one now is null and void. I'm supposed to delete it, but price came down again, okay, to this daily demand. So for me, I'm expecting at least this daily demand also to hold, okay, to possibly just, you know, mitigate some few areas of supply around there, and then maybe come down to take out, remember, this sell liquidity that possibly could be built, okay, like that, and maybe go to the upside. Alternatively, I'm still looking at this demand, and I'll be expecting to see some few reaction from there. So if I do get some conferences here, especially on next week, coming in on Tuesday or maybe Wednesday, because on Monday I'm never around. So from there, I see, or I'm expecting price to at least react from that demand and then come up to this supply. So if I do get the entry there, then I'll be expecting to at least for this supply, okay, and then maybe take partials or maybe just exit, so that I continue or give myself space and room to see on maybe how price now will react between this high and this low, okay, to see how price will react from there before it continues to the upside. So for me, I've placed this as a pending, as an imagine like a pseudo kind of trend, okay, expecting to maybe wanting to see how price will react from there coming in next week. So that is just the 4 hour. Let us now look at the 15 minutes. So the 15 minute, I won't want to talk much from how the week started, because I wasn't that much involved. If you want to understand how I took this trade, please just check the last video that I just I posted last week, or rather every Saturday of the week, so that you can understand how I took those trades. So I'm going to just jump on to this week, which started with that blue vertical line that you see there. So price did come down like that, okay, and we were still, you know, facing the internal structure before the break of structure to the above. So we see we had a change of character around here, and then after the change of character, we had a return to a supply, which pushed price lower. So this would have also been a good trade, but I wasn't around. This was on Wednesday. Yeah, I was around, but I wasn't really interested because I didn't see anything clean for me to take. Okay, not like this one. So going again on Wednesday, we see price going up and then coming down to this demand, but also to create buy side liquidity and also to form that descending triangle, which was broken here. And then after the return to that demand, we see price pushing up. I think this was now on Thursday. Okay, this was now on Thursday, so price pushed up. So coming in on Friday, right here on this brown vertical line, we see previously that we had a change of character and then price pushed up, okay, to that supply. Okay, so from that supply, let me now try and zoom in. So from that supply, we see now price ranging and then correctively continuing to the downside like that. So when price came in here, I noticed now this was London. So I placed in my sell stop there and price came in, tagged me, okay, and then went back up. So as it got to here, I felt no, maybe price could be coming back up to this supply after the change of character, but that wasn't the case. So intuitively, I just deleted my stop loss. I removed my stop loss and I let the price play on its own. So yes, we see a pullback right there. And then I think we had a change of character around here, which actually proved to me that now this supply, okay, this supply was the one now that we would be aiming to react from and then continue to the downside. So like that, came up there and then came down to only range a little bit before it created more sell side liquidity, like you see I've drawn with my liquidity line. And then to be honest, if you ask me, I was willing to leave this trade to play out through the weekend and just hold. But apparently some guy told me, what, your trade just went through, and yeah, we are in profit. We actually hit take profit on USD CHF and also with the other pairs, Euro USD, and yeah, most of the pairs. I don't know what news was there because right now the government has shut down, so nothing of much of the data that is coming out. But yeah, so price came down, and we noticed that we had profits made on Friday. As we looked to trade together in my Telegram group. So for now, I won't want to rush anything, especially on Monday. I'll just expect to see price coming up down here and then wanting to see how it will react. But also on the 15 minutes, let's not forget that this uptrend has been broken. Okay, that uptrend has also been broken, so I'll be expecting the move to the downside to continue. So maybe, just maybe, if it doesn't react to from this demand and it actually breaches it to the downside, then I'll be expecting price to continue dumping. But before it does that, we can see also, just like the Euro USD, the USD CHF is actually pointing to the upside, especially on the 15-minute. So let us continue waiting to see how everything will open up coming in next week, and just being careful to know when and where to trade these pairs. So I won't want to say much. That will be all for now and for this week. If you want us to trade together, you can check my link in the description box below. Okay, I'll leave all my links to all my socials so that you can join me and look for tips on TikTok, trade together on Telegram, and also get get in line, or rather get updated with the analysis and focus on YouTube. So everything will be there. And also, if you want private mentorship, a walkthrough and also a guide and in-depth way of looking at the dynamics of the chart and knowing where to enter and grab your profits, let me know also in the inbox or also in my TikTok or Telegram, and I'll be sure to get back to you and work something out together. So I don't have much. You guys have a nice weekend. God bless you, and I'll see you next week. Peace.